Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we have some pretty crazy news when it comes to Xbox. Now, as you guys probably know, Xbox as a whole has been doing okay. Now, we're not going to say okay as in good or okay as in bad, but very much on the okay side. There's a few, like tens of millions of actual Xbox consoles, a pretty active Game Pass player base, but right now, we're seeing a lot of skepticism when it comes to the future of Xbox. Now, as you guys probably know, when it comes to like a mid-cycle kind of just vibe, a lot of things kind of slow down in terms of like sales for consoles. Look at the PlayStation 5, who have kind of toned down their predictions and expectations and future numbers sold. Xbox obviously is probably feeling the same exact boat, but probably a little bit more in a more extreme sense. It hasn't popped up as much, so its fall might not be as drastic percentage-wise, but number-wise might go down. And obviously, we've also seen a lot of flack when it comes to the Xbox Series S. A lot of big game companies are like, we don't really want to mess around with the Xbox Series S. May not worth our time. We have to spend money on developers to release it. It lowers our specifications. People may be upset. And as well, some people are also saying the Xbox itself is kind of in that same boat, where PlayStation, although they have been toning down their growth projections, are still going up and up and up. While Xbox still is growing, still selling consoles, obviously, it's not as big. This is kind of leading towards a lot of publishers questioning on if the Xbox is still worth it. Now, we've kind of covered the Xbox still being worth it in terms of Xbox itself. Such as Xbox, are they making money? Do they just want to move and segue towards Game Pass? They're still doing publishing and be able to go sell their games on, say, let's say, PlayStation or the Switch or PC or whatever. And that's still like an okay argument. But right now we're talking about the opposite spectrum, or for the publishers themselves, the people who are making the games, the third-party developers, and if it's worth it for them to go and develop on Xbox. And a lot of them are saying no. A lot of them are saying they're questioning the support, they're questioning what's wants to go on, they're questioning the actual overall sales, and if it's actually even worthwhile for them to port their games and spend the development man hours and time to go on Xbox. So this is the high level of the video. We're going to do a little more of the deep dive into it, so give me your thoughts and comments on everything throughout it. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch room down below, and all the other various links, and let's go dive on into the video itself. So as I mentioned, there's been a lot of controversy when it comes to the future of Xbox, when it comes to the Xbox Series S, X, game sales, and everything. And also, unless it's a Game Pass, we're seeing a lot of kind of third-party companies be a little bit on the skeptical side. Game Pass does offer this really nice, like, hey, we're going to get a guaranteed million, 5 million, 10 million, or at least guaranteed sales when it comes out to, depending on the contract and how big the game is. So some people, let's say you're doing your very first major big indie game, you're guaranteed $500,000. In theory, if you let the game kind of just rip it and ship it, you may have made $5 million. But either way, it's kind of incentivizing and securing the reason for you to go and develop the game for Xbox. It's a very nice subsidiary system to make sure the games are fine. But if you guys don't have that deal, and you're more of a big party game, and you can't get a favorable deal with PlayStation or Xbox, then you are curious on how you want to spend your man hours. And some publishers reportedly questioning support for Xbox and flatlining sales, where the Microsoft is planning to bring the majority of Xbox games to PS5 at some point, it's also claimed. So a mixture of two things, basically saying that a lot of these publishers do not like the idea of Xbox, and kind of also, once again, supporting the skewage of where Xbox may just go become a more of a publisher and spread out the gaming sphere instead. Let PlayStation win the console war, but let Xbox go win the publishing war. At the end of the day, they both win. Long-term, Xbox probably would win, though, overall. But it's kind of both good news and bad news. Good news that third-party publishers are skeptical for Xbox users. Good news for PlayStation users as well, which we may do more of a deeper dive into that, although we've covered that a lot on the channel already. Some third-party publishers are reportedly expressing doubts about continuing to support Xbox consoles amid the flatlining sales now in Europe. And don't forget, Europe's always a slightly different market where they still do well on both like the PlayStation and Xbox, way more skewed towards PlayStation, and as well even the games they are slightly different than, say, America or Japan. So that's according to the GamesIndustry.biz head Chris Dring, who said his takeaway from the GDC last week was that he thinks Xbox is in real trouble as a hardware manufacturer. And we kind of covered this on our channel, these in mid-tune, I do agree. Long term, I do think the Xbox will go away. Not anytime soon, but eventually. The other thing I heard it from a very prominent company, and one not so prominent, was Xbox's performance in Europe is just flatlining, he said. You can follow our monthly coverage in the games market, and you can see that Xbox sales are falling. And it's been falling all throughout last year, and it's even falling harder as of now. The phrase one major company who released a big game last year said was, "I don't know why we bothered supporting it." Now, this also obviously is just only one company, but one big company has the same precedent. You would think that these thoughts maybe not are like front center in their brain, but still kind of backed off. Like, they're still there in their brain, like for all these other side companies. Well, so let's go and say you make $50 million on PlayStation, make $2 million on Xbox, and it costs $1.7 million for Xbox. So sometimes you think, is the added extra stress and deadlines and issues, is it worth it for marginal increases? Now, those are just random numbers I pulled out, obviously, but so you get the rough idea. They said that we mentioned on previous podcasts that we've heard retailers in Europe are considering or had already been cutting back on their Xbox stock in their shelves. And this is some stuff I want to dive into, because we're seeing, like I said, the PlayStation 5 issues. This is big. This is rough. This is big. So hardware, games, that kind of thing. And now you've got third-party publishers going, we're putting a lot of effort trying to create a Series S version and an X version of the game, when, to be honest for you, the market's more on PC and PS5. Last year, Microsoft admitted to having lost the console wars after consistently ranking third-party behind PlayStation and Nintendo in terms of sales since entering the market with the original Xbox in 2001. PS5 had outsold the Xbox Series X and S by around 2-1 globally as of the end of 2023, according to these data too as well. So right now we're seeing that the Xbox is not selling as well. I think everyone knew this. That's fine. Like, it still has sold in the 20 millions or so, give or take. I would consider that a win. Like, as a hardware provider, you don't want to be a hard number 3, but like, if you could still sell 20 million, 30 million of a unit, that's pretty good. Like, that's not bad. It's also increasing your install base. It has other extra benefits. Cloud money you're making, Game Pass money you're making, sales you're making, individual game sales you're making, Xbox hardware, controllers, etc. You're making, like Xbox Live, although it's been phased out, like, you still made money. So it's not like a lose. But once again, it gets to the point where, like, what if it's 5 million? What if it's 3 million? What if it's 1 million? And at a certain point, it's not really needed, because if people are on PC instead, like, just focus on PC. And right now, we're even seeing these other big game developers agreeing. So once again, like, these are just arbitrary numbers, but it's kind of like the general vibe. You can go make a PlayStation 5 game and make that your main focus and try to get a good partnership with Sony and get, like, on the home page and try to get promotions and tweets. Or you can try to go do both. And now, I'm not saying this is always going to happen, but Sony may be like, hey, if you're releasing on Xbox 2, you're going to put Xbox branding. We don't want to put you on the homepage. We don't want to put you on the main store seller. Obviously, it depends on the game, but like, that's would make sense. It's like, hey, we want to go everywhere. So then Sony's be like, we're not going to give you a special deal. We're not going to give you an exclusivity deal. Why do we bother? Why do we care? Sell it. Sure, sell it. That's fine. But we're not going to put you on, like, the big banners, not the top sellers, not putting out additional tweets and marketing if there's no reason for it. If you're going to be like, oh, it's also available at Xbox, buy it at Xbox. And it makes sense. It's kind of the same thing for Game Pass, too. Like, they don't want to, if you're on Game Pass, they don't want you promoting on PlayStation. It's not like a bad thing. It's just how markets work. And this is why it's intriguing, because we did see a lot of issues. Like, this is like confirmed issues. Say for Baldur's Gate, they had a lot of big issues with the Xbox Series S. We've seen a lot of other various outside companies complaining that the Xbox Series S sucks. And like, just, it's okay if you have one. It's cool. It's just not going to be as good as everything else, which is fine. That's why it's cheaper. It's chill. You get it for your kids. You get it for just maybe a casual gamer. Maybe you can't afford it. Like, it's okay. Like, it's not bad if you have an Xbox Series S. But right now, it does kind of seem like these people just don't want to deal with these games, too, as well. This is rough. It was rough. Like, I feel bad. It's also saying, too, as well, in February, Microsoft delivered an Xbox business update, which is kind of nice. Like, we may want to go and touch this in more of a separate video, which confirm reports that it's planning to bring more first-party games to PlayStation and or the Switch in the form of Pendant, Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, and Grounded. Those have already been kind of coming out, pre-orders available, etc. But also, Xbox has still been reportedly weighing up the idea of releasing Gears of War, Microsoft Flight Sim, the next Doom game, Starfield, Indiana Jones for rival consoles, and even boss Phil Spencer had recently told The Verge, I don't think we should, as an industry, ever roll out any game ever going to another platform. So if we're seeing all these other companies that are saying Xbox is flatlining, we're seeing hardware companies cutting back on the Xbox, we're seeing people and these game devs that does spend a lot of money. Like, we hear about the big issue of games costing millions, tens of millions of dollars to go make a proper AAA game. So why would you want to go if you're a third party and it's risky, you're not guaranteed to get sales, let's say you don't have a Game Pass partnership, sometimes it might not even be worth it to even make games for the Xbox. Now, I don't think everyone thinks this. I still think Xbox is a very valid place in the market. There is a really big install base on Xbox hardware, but this also has to focus more on long term, because many big games are made for 3, 5, 7, 10 years sometimes out in the future. So right now, anyone who's starting a game literally right this second has to worry about what's going to be going on in 10 years. And if the projections right now and everything are going down, I don't know, like it's a little bit scary. I can understand why these game companies could have issues. So make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. Give me your thoughts and comments on everything down below. Not an Xbox hate video at all. We also have the Twitter and Twitch news want to go and follow. And I appreciate you guys all very much for watching here in the first place. Love you guys.